Hello folks, this is Sula speaking. You're listening to another video for Teamfight Tactics. This video is going to be showcasing one of the new game modes. This is called Fortune's Favor. This is a temporary game mode that's timed to coincide with the Lunar New Year for 2023, Year of the Rabbit. Now, one of the things that you will notice right away is that the initial carousel will have either 4-cost or 5-cost units on it, so it's a little bit like that old Galaxy that used to do that back in set 3, where everybody would get a 4-cost champion off the initial carousel. I saw that there was a Zed with a sword, so I immediately went for that. I did not get it. I'm afraid I was out-clicked by someone else, but out of what was left over, I saw there was a Misfortune with a bow, and my immediate thought was, well, that's pretty good. If I can get a sword, or better yet, a tier, I can make Giant Slater or Static Shiv, which are both good MF items. And then I get a tier, so I immediately just make the Static Shiv. Normally I would wait to see what other items pop out, and I probably should have, just in case there was like a sword would pop out, so I could make a Spear of Shojin. But Static Shiv is a very good item on Misfortune, so I was quite happy to make that. Alright, now look what happens here. I get a bunch of things pop out of this lantern. If you look up at the top of the interface, there's a little lantern graphic on stage 1-3. And every stage will be one of these lanterns that gives out some kind of huge prize. And everybody gets the same thing out of the lantern, or at least the same quality of thing. If you look at the other players, everyone got a Tactician's Crown, everyone got an item remover, and then everyone got a random completed item. My random completed item was a locket, which is going to be very good for the early game. Lockets don't scale great into the late game, but they are very good for early game. So the big question here in this game mode is always, you get this either 4-cost or 5-cost unit at the start of the game. This game had 4-cost unit. You got to build your initial team comp around that 4 or 5-cost unit that you pulled out. So everybody has a different one of these units. Again, it's like that Galaxy that used to do that back in set 3, for anyone who might remember that. And I got the Misfortune, so I need to play around Misfortune. So what does that mean? That means Anima Squad. I'm going to get Anima Squad in early and go from there. There, I was like, Laser Core Crest. Remember, if I had gotten the Zed, I could have had the Zed with a Laser Core Crest and a Tactician's Crown. So, yeah, that would have been pretty nice. But I was out-clicked. I did not manage to get the Zed. So what have I done here instead? Well, I have gone ahead and picked up the early game Anima Squad units, Nasus plus Silas. That gets Anima Squad in. I have randomed my way into a 2-star Galio, so Galio can make Mascot trait together with the Nasus. I can also put the Locket on this Galio so that he gets the highest value from the Locket. Locket gives a bigger shield to units that are 2-star and units that are 3-star if you happen to get one. And then for my final unit, because I'm playing Galio, I've tossed in Sivir, and that actually is going to make Civilian 2 as a trait, which is actually relevant here because mana generation is the biggest thing that Misfortune needs. MF needs to be able to get her cast off, and her cast should do great damage if she can actually get it off. But so the mana generation from having Civilian 2 in will be nice, and then the Static Shiv also helps with that too. I was actually up against the Zed player, who, by the way, apparently got a Duelist emblem for their first augment. I still think that this person's board is probably the most dangerous, at least in theory, because they have the Zed, they're playing Laser Core Duelist. They also got a Last Whisper. I have no idea why they didn't just slam that on Zed. That would seem like a good slam on your early Zed, but for whatever reason, just sitting on their bench, whereas I am actually making use of the items that I have gotten, and I think I've done a good job of making use of what I've got here. Okay, so the other item I have is a glove. The obvious thing I want to try to do with this is find a rod so that I can make a jeweled gauntlet on Misfortune. This is for the same reason that you would want to make use of I've said this before in other videos, anytime that you get ability power from a trait, it's always inherently good to play into crit stuff, whether that's Infinity Edge, whether that's Jeweled Gauntlet. If you can get extra ability power or additional AD for physical damage champions, you want crit stuff if you can get some of the stat from elsewhere, typically from your trait. Misfortune is going to be getting additional AP from her Anima Squad trait, So I want to increase the odds that she will crit off of that free AP that she's getting from her trait. Note that she's also stacking up a good amount of fame. I'm already up to 7 fame 2 rounds into the game. This should be a great setup for getting fame because I've got this Misfortune who's got the Ace trait. Ace trait executes enemies that are below, I think it's 15% health. So she will be very good at finishing off units and then just getting more of the stacks for Anima Squad. Every stack is 5 HP for the whole game on my Anima Squad units. All right, now the other board that looks quite strong is this person, Taling. They just went to level 5. They're playing a Renegade board, and it looks like they took the Viego off the initial carousel, and so they're going to play into a Renegades board. I am hoping that they will not be able to get +1 Renegade to be able to play 6 Renegades. So that is my fear with that particular board. I'm also looking at this person who's playing Talia. And is this the person I'm up against? No, this is not the comp that I have gotten up against. What is going on here? I think I had to step away from the computer for a second here, and that this is why I'm not paying attention, that there was something else going on. So now I'm going to go back to my board, and it turns out I'm actually up against that Renegade board. This person has managed to get a Trinity Force, the Ornn item, onto their Viego. They pulled the Ornn item, and they actually beat me quite badly. I don't kill any units on their board. The good news is they did put a Warmogs, which is not a very good item on Viego. The bad news is they have an item remover, so they can take that off Viego later if they want. All of us got item removers as part of what came out of that lantern. By the way, we have another lantern set to come up on the next stage. So actually take a bad loss. And one thing about a game mode like this where everyone gets a Tactician's Crown, I believe that it's random what you get from the lanterns. I don't think you always get a Tactician's Crown, but for this particular game, we all got a Tactician's Crown. But anyway, if you do get a game mode like this, it's actually very important to have a strong board early on, because if there's more total units on the field and you're playing a weak board, you're going to be taking more damage on losses. So like I took 10 damage on that loss, and that was purely a result of there being more units on the board. All right, so I was able to get the rod, so that's really nice. And then look at this. Out of this next lantern, I get another Misfortune. So that was quite nice. Now I have 2 out of 3 MFs, so that's kind of good. And then I'm going to go ahead and level to level 5. This is standard level 5 timing. I definitely want to get Vayne on the board, so we want to see if we can play her. And then I also found a Jinx. So if I put Jinx on the board, I can potentially play 5 Anima Squad. And I think that's better than putting in the Sivir for 2 Civilian. I think that that's probably better. So yeah, we've got a lot of 1-star units here. I've got a lot of pairs. I have a Nasus pair, Silas pair, a Misfortune pair, and then I have 2 Sivirs on my bench as well. So I've got a lot of pairs here, but 5 Anima Squad in this early in the game is pretty nutty. You normally cannot have 5 Anima Squad in this early, not without getting an Anima Squad emblem. So that's quite nice, and if I can somehow find one more Misfortune for MF 2-star, that would be really nice. Again, the odds of that happening are not great, but I suppose I do have 2% odds for Misfortune to show up in the store. Unfortunately, this person ends up beating me. They also have a Misfortune, just a random MF on their board. But MF does not need Anima Squad trait to be effective. She has the Ace trait no matter what, so you can always play her just for the execute, and that person's able to beat me. So I also got and then, oh my god, there's an MF in my store just at the 2% odds. That was not the lantern. That was just, I literally hit the MF at 2% odds in my store. So I got one out of the first lantern, or one off the initial carousel, another one off the second lantern, and then one was in my store at 2% odds. So I have MF 2-star on stage 2-6 with pretty good itemization. If I can get a Spiro Shojin on her, then I'll be flying pretty high here. So I should be able to win streak off of this. By the way, someone had a Zephyr. Am I paying attention? Yes. Yes, I am paying attention. So I managed to dodge the Zephyr that would have been on Misfortune. This person does not have a Future Sight Augment, so they didn't get like a Zephyr from that. They didn't know they were going to hit me. That was just someone else paying attention, but I was also paying attention. So scouting helps a lot. I think I would have beaten this person anyway, but I'm going to beat them much more convincingly with Misfortune not getting Zephyr'd out. All right, and then I want to get to 20 gold, so I'm going to sell here, and that'll get me up to 20. I cleared the Sivers. I'm not going to play Sivir at this point. And then I'll go ahead and clear the Silases because I was able to find a Riven as well. I'm not going to need Silas. I don't expect to play Silas on this board, not unless I would find an Anima Squad emblem. It is a makeable emblem, so maybe if I can get a Spatula, it would be possible. So that's something I am going to have to keep an eye on. But for the time being, until I can get a Spatula, I don't really need to worry about Silas. And I did need to get some additional gold. It's quite expensive having the extra unit on your board. You do have to spend more gold, and I did spend 4 more gold on getting that MF, so I've actually spent quite a bit of money on my board. Good news is that Lantern gave me some additional money. Bad news is it gave everybody else additional money as well, so everybody's economy has been accelerated in this match. All right, so what do we have here? Well, we're going to get the items for a Sunfire, and then we get an item for another AP item on MF, so okay. I'll just put that on her. Remember, I have an item remover, so if I get the items for like a Shojin later on, I could always pop this item off if I need to. So that's why I'll just go ahead and make use of that rod right now. And my board's coming along pretty nicely. The Sunfire is great. Sunfire is always going to be a good early game item. This Galio is going to get sold soon enough, but for right now, I definitely want to play him since he makes Mascot trait. And as long as he's alive, I do get Civilian trait in as well. It's not much, but I think Civilian trait, Civilian 1 is 2 additional mana per second for all your units. I'm just going to look this up. Yeah, if there's a Civilian alive, your team is inspired to protect them, gain mana every 2 seconds. Okay, every 2 seconds. So 2 mana every 2 seconds. I mean, it's not much, but it's better than nothing, as long as Galio's alive. This round, I'm also up against the win-streaking player in the lobby. This is, it's the person I hit in the very first round. It's the person who took Zed off the initial carousel. Well, guess what? I just annihilated them. This wasn't even remotely close, so much for their win streak. I just blew right through them in a second. I just made sure that Misfortune was over on the other side from where Zed was. And that person needs to build a somewhat more tanky front line. I guess they're going the duelist route for Zed. They should probably be going more into Laser Core. The Laser Core version's a little bit stronger nowadays than the duelist version, but then again, they did get the +1 duelist emblem there, so I guess it makes sense to look to try to go 8 duelists, but they're going to need to get some lockets. They need to talk to JDP El Grillo about building lockets for their frontline duelist board. Okay. All right, second augment is the champion augment. I'm going to take the Vayne support augment. You have probably seen me taking this a lot if you've been watching my videos. I think I've been taking this in like 5 different videos at this point. And it's just a really useful augment to take. It's the one that gives you an Edge of Night and gives anyone holding an Edge of Night 35% attack speed. That's just really good in general. I'm also going to go ahead and level here to level 6. Again, this is the standard timing to go to level 6 on stage 3-2. Everything feels a little bit off because we had that Tactician's Crown, because we had the 4 cost units from the start of the game, but I have 7 units in here at level 6, and I'm going to go ahead and play the Neela because I want Duelist trait for my Vayne. Also gets me another Star Guardian, so now if I can find Echo, I would really like Echo to be my next unit in. Echo will get me Star Guardian trait, and he'll get Prankster trait in with the Jinx, and I definitely would like to play Jinx the whole game. So I'm thinking I'll play these 5 units for Anima Squad, and then I'd like to eventually sell the Galio and replace with Alistar, because that'll maintain Mascot trait with Nasus. Oh, by the way, MF just annihilates everything there. This is after she got nerfed, remember, but she's still, if you can build the right team around her and itemize her well, she's still pretty strong. And as I was saying, though, I'd like to sell the Galio eventually, ideally when I can get another 2-star frontliner to move the tank items over to. And then we'll just replace Galio with Alistar, put in the Echo, and then Echo will make Aegis and Star Guardian and Prankster, so he'll hit all of his traits. And then we can figure out where to go from there, but I'm pretty sure that's the ideal setup. Right now, I'm not getting full locket value, but I don't want to put any more of these units up on the front lines. I don't want to play Jinx on the front line without Prankster trait, so we're just getting like slightly less than full value from our locket, but I think it's okay. I think this is pretty solid. Overall, though, things are going great. I certainly cannot complain about anything RNG related. I hit the MF 2-star unbelievably early. Pretty much everybody else in this game still has 1-star versions of their 4-cost unit, but I've had 2-star MF ever since the end of stage 2, and so she's just kind of annihilating everything, which is not a surprise. I have her very well itemized. The static ship is one of her best items. I think I mentioned that briefly before, but it's quite good on her because it kind of gives her all the stuff that she needs. It gives her attack speed, so she'll attack more often to get her cast off. It gives her a little additional mana, so she starts with 15 instead of 0. It also is an MR debuff, so you get that electricity proccing, and then it reduces the magic resistance of everybody on the enemy team. So it's a very good item on her, and it really just softens them up for her big cast afterwards. All right. Well, I was able to win. I'm on a pretty sizable win streak here. I think I've won 4 rounds in a row. I've actually only lost 2 rounds the whole game, but apparently I lost enough health in those 2 rounds that I'm still third pick here, which is kind of interesting. By the way, look what's still on this carousel. Yeah, there's a spatula here. I am shocked that no one has taken this, but alrighty then. I'm happy to take that. I've got a rod on MF. We can just pop that right off, and then we can use that to make an Anima Squad emblem, because spatula plus rod is the Anima Squad formula. I'm very surprised that that got to me on third pick, but I am not going to complain. I'll take that, and then I'll put it on someone, and then this opens up the possibility of playing. It will pop off Misfortune, and then look at what we've got here. I was like, oh, we got double champion duplicators. Let's get the champion training dummy. And then out of these options, I was like, okay, Recon's not bad, but let's go for Prankster emblem. That's going to be better here. That's going to allow us to play 3 Prankster as soon as we find the Echo later on. Like, Recon was an option, but I'm not really playing into the Recon trait in this game. I'm not really looking to play into the Kaisa, which I often do when I'm playing this board. Instead, I was like, let's go for 7 Anima Squad. I've actually seen this build before. You can play 7 Anima Squad, and you play, you turn like your frontliners into Anima Squad units, and you just basically take advantage of them getting extra health, while relying on the additional attack damage and AP on 7 Anima Squad for damage. Just really relies on Vayne and Misfortune as dual carries on the board, and just having like a very tanky front line, but between getting all the additional health for all your Anima Squad units as MF just continues annihilating everybody's backlines here. We're already at 175 bonus health from 35 fame. That's quite early in the game to hit this. I think I have good odds to get up to 100 fame in this game, which would be 500 health on potentially 7 different units. Now, the bad thing is I do have to find Silas again to play 7 Anima Squad, so I will have to find Silas, but he'll come back and look at this. We found the Echo. Okay, so I'm going to level to 7 right here, and that kind of puts the core of my team together. This is now what I want. 5 Anima Squad, 3 Prankster, 2 Mascot, 2 Duelist, 1 Ace, 1 Civilian. When I find the, once I can 2-star like the Riven, then I can look to sell the Galio and replace with Alistar, which will get Aegis straight in. And then our next unit on level up is, what are we missing here? We need another Star Guardian. Who am I missing? Oh, and then I need Kaisa for another Star Guardian. I think I need to get Kaisa on the board as well to make Recon trait. I think that's the unit I'm missing, but we'll figure it out. We'll see what we hit here. All right, I am up against the Renegades player, the other person I think is quite strong in this lobby. Fortunately, MF is able to kill their Talon before she runs out of health. Again, the bonus 200-ish health that we're getting from Anima Squad trait definitely helping there. I think she actually would have died without the bonus health from the Anima Squad. I think we've got about 200 extra health, so I think she would have died there. Probably still win the fight, but it's not guaranteed, and well, no surprise, I was able to win streak all the way through, 190 extra health. I was able to win streak all the way through stage 3. Again, that's largely because I hit the MF 2-star so easily. So this is a pretty big high roll game. I've also decided Echo's going to be the one who holds the Anima Squad emblem. As I said, I often put this on Kaisa, but I haven't been seeing Kaisa, and I'm just going to try out this slightly different build here. One that emphasizes putting Anima Squad emblems on frontliners for more tankiness as opposed to on backliners for additional damage. Long term, my goal is I'm hoping I can 3-star the Misfortune. I've got these double champion duplicators here. I was thinking maybe I can just 3-star MF. Apparently, I also get 3 Annies here, which is kind of like, what? 3 Annies? That's kind of weird. Okay, anyway. So, and then I'm going to go ahead and look to level here. By the way, again, this is just a side note. Fortune's Favor is a game mode that's kind of like the Earth version of TFT. That is, if Hyper Roll isn't the Earth version of TFT. But it's just a sped up version. The pace of the game is very sped up. And the biggest reason why is all these gold drops from the Lucky Lanterns. People will focus on the fact that you can get, like, champion duplicators, as we all got here. Note that everybody got 2 champion duplicators. You can get the emblems, you can get the tactician's crowns, but really the biggest thing that speeds up the pace of the game is each lantern is dropping like 15 gold, and that does make a big difference. It just accelerates you to the higher levels much faster. So this is a game where it's really about playing 4 and 5 cost units. It's not really about re-rolling for 3-star units. I mean, you can, but it's just the pace of the lobby is so much faster with everyone getting all this additional gold. It's just much easier to get to high levels and play like legendary units. So I think it's easier and more consistent to do that. Again, I've played exactly 1 game of this game mode, so I'm not an expert of this. This is literally the only game that I've played of this game mode. But it feels to me like this is a setup where you're looking to go more for get to level 9 and play a bunch of legendary units just because you're getting all that additional gold. All right, that said though, like as I mentioned before, if your board's not strong, you take a lot of damage on losses. So some people are getting pretty close to getting knocked out. Okay, I don't like any of these options, so I'm going to re-roll, but then oof, I don't really like any of these options that much either. I was like, is it Exiles? But no, I've got a Locket. A Locket, I can't play Exiles. Is it Tome of Trades? I was like, maybe, but I don't think my odds are actually that great. I'm going to go ahead and take the Cybernetic Uplink. And there is some rationale to taking this. Cybernetic Uplink is going to help. And oh, by the way, there's another MF. There's a Leona. I am hoping that long term maybe I can 3-star my Misfortune because I've got these champion duplicators. So anyway, because I spotted the Leona, I was like, all right, let's move into the Alistar right now. We'll go ahead and put some of these tank items onto the Riven. I should be able to hit Riven 2-star, right? So we also are going to need this. We'll just put the Locket on Echo. And let's get Leona on the board. The Leona was just hit at the 4% odds, but it takes me up to 3 ages, so that's pretty good. The one other thing I'm going to need to do, though, is... Oh, I am going to need to get... I still need to find Silas, though. I'm kind of on 6 Anima Squad, and I would like to get up to the 7. So I do have to find the Silas, but hopefully Silas will come back. As I said, I did not have the Anima Squad emblem at the time that I sold him, and he got me to... I think he got me to, like, an even break number on income. So I think it was the right decision to do that. But, yeah. Also, oh, by the way, yeah. So one thing I did not realize at the time was this is actually a lesser champion duplicator. Can only be used on 1, 2, or 3 cost units. I did not realize that at the time. It took me a while before I realized that it was actually a lesser champion duplicator. But for right now, I want to go ahead and roll, and I want to try to 2-star some of my units. I have a lot of 1-stars on my board. I want to 2-star some of these, and then look to get to level 9 after that. Hopefully I can find Silas as well. I also have 2 out of 3 Leonas here, so I was thinking, do I want to use one of these on Leona? And I was like, yes. And then I was like, wait, what? Unit tier is too high? That's when I realized, oh, I can only use this for 1, 2, and 3 cost units. Oh. Okay. Well, that's a bit unfortunate. I would have loved to have had a 2-star Leona at this stage of the game, but no, that's not going to happen. Not going to be able to get that, so, oh well. My board also is probably going to start falling off a little bit just because I haven't been rolling that much, and the days of MF 2-star just killing absolutely everything in one go are probably about to start falling off pretty soon now. Some other people should be rolling down, hitting their boards, starting to get stronger. I do have Ascension, which is really nice. Again, I've got that tankier front line because I've got the extra health from Anima Squad. Come on, Misfortune, there we go. But yeah, so if I can stall out these fights, I definitely can get to the point where having just more health that they have to chew through on all the people on my team will be useful. Anyway, we've got another carousel round coming up here, so let's see what we can get off this. I am most looking for a tier because I have that sword on my bench. If I can get a tier, I can put Spear of Shojin on Misfortune, and that would be very, very nice so that she'll cast much faster. Also, the Static Shiv and the Spear of Shojin have pretty good synergy here, so that would definitely work as well. All right, so I'm hoping the ASO will last, but I am the final pick on this carousel, and somebody took it. That's not quite what I wanted. So I was like, all right, well, let's go a different route. I've got this glove here. I can look to potentially make Infinity Edge on Vayne. That'll let her her ults crit, which would be nice. We do have another Lantern coming up, so we have to figure out what we're going to do with the Lantern first. So let's see what pops out of the Lantern. Let's see here. We've got... Oh, we got an Urgot. I was like, oh, wow. We also get an Obsidian Cleaver. Attacks and abilities Shred and Sunder. That means they cut through physical and magic resistance. So now I've got to figure out what do I want to do here. Do I play the Urgot? I was like... I guess I do play the Urgot. I mean, I feel like that's better than anything else I can get here because Urgot's going to give me extra econ. But now I'm kind of like, but remember, I still need to find a Silas so I can play 7 Anima Squad. It's kind of wasteful if I don't have a Silas for Anima Squad. So I'm going to look to roll here just so I can try to hit some of these 2-stars. If I can hit Leona 2-star, I will play her over the... I would look to play her over the Urgot. Oh, wow, look at that. Whoop! I get yoinked out of the way. And this person somehow has an Urgot 2-star, so that's kind of scary. So I guess it's going to be up to Vayne to carry in this fight because MF got taken out so quickly. That said, this person doesn't really seem to have that much damage on their board. They basically just have a 2-star Urgot, but Urgot's kind of like secondary carry material. Urgot doesn't really do that much damage. He's more of like an creates loot for you unit than someone who really is like a main damage dealer. So looks like we're going to win this round anyway. That person got like 20 gold or something, but they're also down on 15 HP. So I don't know. I don't know about that situation. They really need to start rolling and hitting because they do not have much left in the way of health right here. All right, so again, I wanted to roll to hit some of these units. There's an Aphelios and a Zed, but no, not playing those units. There's an Alistar. There's some Kaisas, but again, I've decided I'm not going to look to play Kaisa this game. I rolled down to 50, and yikes. Basically hit nothing there. I was like, geez, can I just hit like another Neela and 2 Rivens and 2 Echoes? I'm a little hesitant to go level 9 if I have this many 1-stars on my board still. So I was hoping I could hit a couple more of them. Now, the issue is this other person there, Yasua Long. They are playing a board that is similar to mine, and they're actually taking a lot of the units that I've been playing. And that's part of the reason why I have not been seeing this many units. Now, for some reason, they're not playing Misfortune. They're playing like the recon version of this comp. So they've been taking like the Veins and the Kaisas and the Rivens out of the board, but they have not been taking the MF. So that's why I'm still hopeful that maybe I can hit an MF 3-star, even though these champion duplicators can't be used on Misfortune. Still hoping that maybe I can look to hit the Misfortune 3-star. So I'm going to continue going here, and I was able to carry my win streak all the way through that stage as well. So I really couldn't be too much happier with how this is going so far. Definitely something useful here. All right, so we get another minion round, and I'm going to continue rolling here. Again, I just want to 2-star some of these units. I was like, no, but no. I have 2-star Alistar. I want to play Alistar. He gives me the Aegis trait. I think I'd rather play the Alistar. There's another Jinx, so maybe I can at least hit the Jinx. There's another Vayne. I've got 5 Vaynes at this point. These champion duplicators could be used on the Vaynes, so that is at least a possibility. And I'm looking for... What are we hoping to get here? We are going to get... I wanted to try to get the final item for Misfortune. So I get a vest, and then here I was like, all right, well, sword plus bow, that can be a Giant Slayer. It's not quite the item I'm looking for, but it's not bad. So, and then I've got this leftover vest, which, by the way, I should have put on a unit for cybernetic uplink value, but I kind of forgot that I had cybernetic uplink here. So again, I continue rolling here. It is only stage 5-1, but I didn't really hit what I wanted to, so I'm going to continue rolling a little bit more. I was like, really? There's at least the Silas. I was like, all right, I do want to get 7 Anima Squad in. I'm going to drop the Urgot for Silas, which feels really bad. Like, I can't really put in words how bad this feels, dropping Urgot for Silas, dropping a 5 cost for a 1 cost, but I do want to get the 7 Anima Squad in. And then I think at this point I was like, I guess it's probably time to stop rolling here. I don't really want to roll too much further. I would like to get to level 9 in this game, just so I can continue looking for legendary units. We're going to win that round right there, but... yeah, I think it's probably about time to stop. I do have the champion duplicators. It doesn't look like I'm going to hit Vayne 3-star because there's so many Vaynes out of the pool. It's this other person, Yasua Long, who has all these Vaynes. As you see this slap fight here between Neela and Fiddlesticks. They actually do finally lose, which is good for me, interrupt their win streak, and somebody else beats them. But, yep, there's the Neela. Okay, and then I think I used the champion duplicator on the Riven here because I was like, all right, well... let's just get Riven 2-star, and then now let's look and see if we can go to level 9 from here. So I did roll a fair bit on level 8. That obviously slowed down how long it would take me to get to level 9, but I just had a lot of 1-stars, and I really wanted to see if I could hit them. Unfortunately, I didn't really hit that much, so I probably wasted about 20 to 30 gold there. In retrospect, if I'd known I wasn't going to hit, I maybe would have looked to do a little bit better there, but, you know, it is what it is. I wasn't able to get really closer to Vayne 3-star. I wasn't able to find any more Misfortunes. I'm still stuck on the 4. It was just kind of a disappointing roll down, and sometimes that is going to happen. Sometimes you're just going to roll and not really hit. So now I do need to try to get to level 9, and this is the Renegade player. That Talon was able to kill the Misfortune before we managed to get the Ascension to kick in. And yeah, this board looks like it's gotten a lot stronger. Guess what? They did manage to hit the +1 Renegade. So I don't know if they have the Leona yet. No, it looks like they're still missing the Leona. So I think they're only on 5 Renegade. Yeah, they're on 4 Renegade 5 Oxforce. They don't have the Leona yet. But that board looks pretty strong. So that could be an issue going forward. It's going to have to try to work through that particular person's setup. One other thing that I'm missing right now is I really should put this vest on someone so that they'll cast a little bit faster. Probably it would be good on either Alistar or Jinx, just so that they'll cast a little bit sooner. By the way, I also have the Tactician's Crown, and I could put the Tactician's Crown on somebody so that they will cast sooner via the cybernetic uplink value. That does actually give you an item for cybernetic uplinks value. Also gives you a little bit of additional health as well. So I don't know what I was thinking. For whatever reason, I just forgot that I had the cybernetic uplink, but there was no reason not to put the, I probably should have put the vest on Alistar and the Tactician's Crown on Jinx, because it would give them additional health and it would cause them to cast a little bit sooner. And every little bit does help in these fights. All right, MF gets off another ult. MF is staying pretty safe here in this fight, right up until she decided to walk forward towards Zed for no clear reason. Have we triggered Zed's Edge of Night yet? I'm not sure. Come on, MF. Can you get this off? Well, it looks like Fiddlesticks is going to kill everybody, though. But no, Vayne's going to clutch it out. Haha. That was a close fight, but we did win it, and we actually ended that person's modest win streak. So that's good. We don't want those people to have economy for their rolldowns. We want them to have less money. All right, so I'm looking here, and I was like, oh, there's another Anima Squad emblem, and no one's going to want that. No one's going to want an Anima Squad emblem because no one else is playing Anima Squad. That is perfect. This will let me cut Silas, who is completely useless, from my board, and now I can play a much better unit on my board instead. And guess what? I have a Leona sitting on my bench. Leona will be perfect for this. Let's give Leona some additional health. I don't know quite how much health how many stacks of fame I have. 93 stacks of fame. All right, what else are we going to get here? We're going to get a bunch of gold again. We get a loaded dice. We have the lesser champion duplicator. And we also got a Janna out of this as well. Plus, there's a Janna in my store. I really should grab both of these Jannas. I have not looked at what the Janna ability is in this game yet, which is a mistake. I should have looked at what the Janna ability was, because it turns out I really did want Janna in this game. Anyway, though, so we have 93 stacks of fame. I'll come back to the Janna point in a minute. 93 stacks of fame is about 450 health, something like that. So, yeah, that's an awful lot of additional health that we're getting on all these. And then I finally check what Janna's ability is. It is the Rainy Forecast one. This is the one that gives mana to champions that stand next to Janna at the start of combat. And as soon as I saw that, I was like, oh, yeah, that was a mistake. I should have kept that Janna. Janna is actually the unit I want to play when I level up. Now, in this meta, most of the time when people have been going to level 9, they've been looking to play Fiddlesticks, they've been looking to play Urgot. Those units are very strong in this patch, so it makes sense that people want to play these units. For my board, it's Janna. And the reason for that is she will give units mana at the start of the fight. And that's exactly what I need for Miss Fortune. I need her to give mana to Miss Fortune at the start of the fight so that Miss Fortune will cast faster. MF's cast will do a ton of damage. She has the Jeweled Gauntlet, and she has the, the Giant Slayer, which is good against high health targets. So, and she has the Static Shiv, so she's going to be shredding the magic resistance of people on the enemy team as well. So her ult's going to hit really hard. The problem is just that it's going to take her a little while to get her ult off because she doesn't have a Spear of Shojin or a blue buff. So by putting her next to Janna, this is actually really nice. Janna's going to give her additional mana at the start of each round of combat. And the sooner she casts, the sooner she can wipe the board. So Janna 1-star gives, I think it's 20 mana, if I'm remembering correctly. I think it's 20 mana, and then I believe Janna 2-star is 40 mana. Anyway, I'm up against the Renegade board again, and it's actually going a lot better this time around, in part because Miss Fortune casts sooner, in part because I've got Leona on my board as well now, and Leona's actually doing a lot for me. She's giving me the Aegis trait. She's giving me 3 Aegis, so I get that extra magic resistance, and she's just another very tanky frontliner that the enemy team has to cut through. So, yeah, feeling pretty good. And then watch this. Oh, loaded dice. I used it on Miss Fortune. Oof. I was thinking I want to use this at level 9 to increase the odds of finding MF. Well, MF is actually not the right person to use this on. In fact, she's actually a subpar choice to use it on. And the reason for that is there's actually a lot of aces that are at high levels. Miss Fortune can pull people who have either the Anima Squad trait or the ace trait. Well, guess who's a 4 cost? Samira. Guess who's a 5 cost? Mordekaiser. Yeah, that's actually not the right person to use it on. I should have gone to tactics.tools, which gives you the loaded dice odds. Nasus is actually the correct person to use it on. I should have used it on Nasus. That's because Nunu is like the only other mascot that's high, that's a high level. So the correct person to use it on actually was Nasus. So yeah, always check tactics.tools. And if I had gotten just like another 2 misfortunes, I'd be really close to MF 3-star. Anyway, I was able to take a Zephyr out of that particular minion round. Zephyr is always good to have. I'm just rolling it down. I'm trying to hit more Vanes, more misfortunes. And by the way, I've got a chance to place my Zephyr, so I'm going to go ahead and look to do that. I thought the best person to use it on was actually the Alistar on this board, which might seem like kind of a weird choice, but that Alistar is extremely tanky. The rest of this board is actually pretty fragile. This Renegade's board, Renegade Oxforce board, it's actually the Alistar that provides all the tankiness. So as soon as I take out the Alistar, it's actually really easy to cut through the rest of the team. So yeah, we actually win and win easily and knock that person out of the game. Of course, it also helped having Anima Squad for the extra health, and it also helped having the having the Aegis trait for extra magic resistance, because that team is pretty much all magic damage. All right, I finally hit Echo 2-star, finally. And now I'm really just rolling for my remaining legendaries. The game really wants me to play Urgot, by the way. I keep turning down Urgot. Maybe that was a mistake. I don't know. But the game, yeah, clearly wanted me to play Urgot. And now finally, Janna has come back. There we go. Janna 2-star is very big for my board, just because, as she said, I think she gives Misfortune 40 mana at the start of the fight. Will also cause Vayne to ult instantly at the start of the fight. Anyway, so now I'm up to the other person playing Anima Squad. Well, they're not really Anima Squad. They're basically Recon plus... It's kind of like Recon Duelist, something like that. I also finally put the Tactician's Crowd on Jinx. I get a great Zephyr, though. I Zephyr out the Kaisa, who is the most important unit on that enemy team. And yeah, Misfortune casts so much faster with the Janna. It's basically like she has a blue buff for free on her. I think blue buff gives you 50 mana, and she's getting 40 mana. So it's basically like she has a blue buff. So yeah, we cast sooner, we punch right through. 126 fame. That's over, what? That's almost 700 health that they're getting. Oof, that is an awful lot of health that they're getting from Anima Squad. All right, also think about this. So I have 7 units with Anima Squad. They all have almost 700 bonus health. I'm up against this team that's playing Vayne 3-star, Kaisa 3-star. Okay, what counters Vayne 3-star? Vayne is going to deal true damage. Not armor. Armor doesn't protect against true damage. Not magic resistance. That's not going to protect against true damage. But health, stacking health is the counter to true damage. What do I have? Lots and lots of health, because I have 7 Anima Squad and 120 stacks of Anima Squad. So I basically have like the perfect counter to this team. As far as Kaisa goes, Kaisa deals magic damage, but I have 3 Aegis in, so I actually have a lot of additional magic resistance. And yeah, my team is just a really good counter to what this person's running. Also, this person not really paying attention. They allowed me to Zephyr out Kaisa 2 rounds in a row. Maybe not the most focused player on the other team, but yeah, I'll take it. I'm not going to complain. And so we're going to kill the Kaisa for 140 fame. 140 fame. Oh my god, that's an awful lot of fame. So yeah, we're going to win this lobby, and it's a pretty straightforward victory. Now, I did have an awful lot of good luck in this game. I hit the Misfortune 2-star unbelievably early. But I do think I did a good job of building this comp around it. So I think I did a good job of playing with what I was given, even if I was given an awful lot. I don't expect to play this game mode very much, but for a change of pace, I guess it was fun to try something a little bit different. Anyway, hope you enjoyed this. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Until next time, take care, folks.